Howdy, 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 my name is Anachi Sasuke. Welcome back to Let's Read Problem Sleuth. I was intending on doing this yesterday, but time got away from me and it ain't go down like that. So, first off, I feel like I should probably add some sort of background music to this comic because, well, it's a really quiet comic. I don't think its flashes have any sort of anything. Homestuck has flashes, but this doesn't, so it doesn't have its own sound. I've just been reading it for the whole time. But Problem Sleuth also doesn't have a soundtrack in handy that I can use for that, like Jailbreak and Homestuck do. Anyway, it's boss battle time! It's MK's hideous ultimate form, Demon Head Mobster Kingpin. Looks kinda like a jack-o'-lantern to me. With a lot of keys on it, so it's like a jack-o'-lantern that's also got, Sly Cooper Part 1 mechanics. The Fan Islands disperse. I don't remember who AS is. Fashion a more fitting hat from your old hat. You flip your reversible hat inside out to produce the Admiral's hat! Your nautical prowess multiplies by a factor of 10. I guess it's Admiral Sleuth. You make sure to restow the precious candy corn inside it. You briefly pose as a team because shit seriously just got real again! This iron-faced thug has kept you under his thumb long enough. It's time to take him out. You have a feeling you'll need help from as many allies as you can get for this epic struggle. Future Picklehead, bring Nervous Broad to the ace deck. You decide to reunite the fair dame with her allies, but suddenly reconsider at the sight of the foul demon. Sheesh! That is no place at all for a delicate flower like her. Instead, you drop her off at the brothel in the sky. She'll be much safer with the horrors on Whore Island. You offer words of reassurance to... Thought I heard something. To undisconcert her before leaving to take on the monster. Demon Mobster Kingpin, a combat operating level 49 abstracted thought. Part of your awareness detaches itself from the imaginary universe and returns to reality. Oh, this is happening in the... Okay, this is happening in the imaginary universe. You are now free to move about in reality while your demonic self remains in the realm of imagination. Gather up all the ship portholes. You pry the port and starboard side ship portholes from the walls. It seems their batteries are now fully charged and they may operate free from their outlets. Pickle Inspector, defeat Death already. You're working on it! Death chases you through the partially complete labyrinthine pseudo-cube diametric. He urges you to pull over with his bullhorn scythe. This is incredibly serious business. You bump a pseudo-cube stem block. You head bump one. That is Tetris pieces. What the heck is going on here? What is going on here? A-Stick established superiority by punching nearest Cubert in the snout. The Cuberts are enamored of your rowdy, no-nonsense brand of ruffianism. Your superiority has clearly been established. Q Hurst appears to be especially smitten. Future Pickle Inspector, go back to Ace Deck. You sense your allies are in need. Admiral Sleuth, fire warning shots off the port bow. The bullets are deflected! There's no way you'll be able to inflict damage to that metal mask, let alone through his natural defenses at low blood sugar levels. For that matter, it looks like you won't even be able to feed him candy. Auto-parry! The ricochet bullets are auto-parried swiftly through Zombie Ace's necrotic tissue. Zombie Ace Dick matured a new parry craft over ripe produce. Problem Sleuth used Tommy Key on lock. Your ring of keys is just way too small for that oversized lock. You're going to need to find a bigger set of keys. You've done it. The beauty of your remarkable accomplishment has caused Death to shed a single tear of black liquid sorrow. Pickle Inspector has finally perfected the labyrinthine pseudo-cube comprehensile. Death has been bested. You are free to leave. A-Stick has beaten Q Hurst to death with a pawn. He can go too. Pickle Inspector and A-Stick return to the land of the living. You breathe a sigh of relief. You were afraid you might have missed something out of the ordinary while you were gone. Dump portholes through jacuzzi. Into the babbling portal they go. All but one. DMK seizes them telekinetically. Mobster Kingpin grab the cinder blocks. Before you throw the last one in, you pick up the cinder blocks from the base of your fort and throw them through the final porthole. You were tired of stubbing your toe on them anyway. Finally, you toss the last porthole into the jacuzzi. Is it going to make some sort of infinite Infinite cinder blocks happen? What's happening? Okay. There is suddenly a lot of traffic being conducted through these lights. 3 enlarged cinder blocks cycle through the enlarged portholes, providing their demonic form with even more defense! MK ducks back into the safety of his fort. Admiral Sleuth, craft seaworthy hats for your allies. You fit your mates with appropriately nautical headwear. Corsair, Dick, and Skipper Inspector seem quite pleased with the look. But seriously, we can keep referring to them all with the standard shorthand PS, AD, and PI, because, really, this is going to be confusing if we start getting too literal. Pickle Inspector can conjure candy armor. 2 can play at this defense game. Admiral Sleuth dons the peppermint mithril coat. Corsair Dick dons the Jolly Rancher full plate. Skipper Inspector dons the studded fruit leather. Zombie and Fiesta Ace Dick don't get to have cool armor, though, because they're a couple of weirdos. Quick, pose as a team again before the... again, this shit seems pretty real. Didn't we just do this? Nonetheless, Future Pickle Inspector cajoles the group photo out of the party dressed to the nines in swanky new duds. Demon Mobster Kingpin, aggress! Treacle Aegis. While you're all goofing around, Demon Head Mobster Kingpin turns his defense into offense! Promises to absorb the cinder block's brunt entirely. Your armor's Treacle Aegis gauge takes a hit, but you're otherwise undamaged. Looks like the candy coat is doing the trick! Communal forces cause you to stop being knocked out cold. Candy Mecha, join the battle already! The brainless war machine blasts off to adventure, or at least its detachable hull segment does, leaving the legs behind. Admiral Sleuth, Sub Hulk return! No, you fool! Don't you realize if you initiate that attack, it will be the last thing you do? Fiesta smacks some sense into you. Hysterical Dame flipped the switch. You wonder what the switch does. You give it a curious flip. Doesn't appear to have done anything. The power in the room is cut off. The jacuzzi stops bubbling. The large portal closes. Admiral Sleuth, take charge as leader. Demand weapons. It's time to quit the harebrained antics and rally your troops around an actual battle plan. You ask all of them to hand over their weapons. You tell Future Ace Dick to hang on to his machine gun since you really just need the one. You ask the idiot zombie to pony up his, though. Give all the weapons to Pickle Inspector. You order Pickle Inspector to take the key, the ring of keys, and the hairpin down to the jacuzzi and jump in with them. In the meantime, you and the aces will keep Demon Head Mobster Kingpin at bay. Skipper Inspector politely accepts this mission. Take the weapons down to the office. Along the way, you drop the gun, the Tommy gun, and the machine gun because you suddenly remember your Vim is not nearly high enough to carry them. This appears to be a snag in the plan. Hysterical Dame is standing there looking puzzled. She wonders what's with the fruity getup. Ask the Hysterical Dame to take the weapons instead. Thinking on the fly, you come up with an imaginative alternative to get this strapping dame to do a man's work for him. It's no wonder Admiral Sleuth entrusted you with this critical operation. His bold leadership causes your heart to palpitate with admiration. Hysterical Dame brings the weapons to the jacuzzi. You come out of the manhole. This appears to be another snag in the plan. Thank goodness that's taken care of. You spaced out for a minute. Hey, what the heck does this switch do? You completely forget. Mysterious divine forces along with a profound sense of adult curiosity causes you to flip it. The big portal is active again, rendering the manhole useless. Hysterical Dame is now trapped on the street. The mysterious forces continue to inform you your adult impulses. There's something you feel a strong urge to get. Hysterical Dame walked to the nearest intersection. Considering there's not much traffic, the lights above seem to be awfully busy. Pickle Inspector become homoerotically interested in returning to your fan? The magnetism you feel towards your trusty fan is as powerful as it is inexplicable. More divine forces compel you to bring the fan somewhere else. Dump the fan through the jacuzzi. You're not sure why you're doing this, but it feels important. You offer a few fond parting words to your breathing device and drop it into the bubbling vat. MK is sort of weirding you out from in there. Okay then. Pickle Inspector, return to battle! On the way back up, you spot a lovely sombrero. Some careless fellow has left it here on the floor. You imagine the chap must be heartbroken about it. What a shame! Put it in your inventory. In this room, you spy a Captain Sextant Sans telescope. You ogle this curious navigation apparatus for a moment. Admiral Sleuth retrieves Snoop Bus, for it is too important to be lost. It is drifting far out of reach. I'm sorry, you have to know when it's time to say goodbye. Throw weapons into the lights! Waiting for a gap in the cinder block cycle, you start with the handgun, lobbing it into the port side red light. The key emerges from the standard side green porthole, unlocking one of the locks. Throw the Tommy gun. You lob the Tommy gun in the starboard side yellow light. It emerges from the port side red porthole. Right. Throw machine gun. Finally, you lob the machine gun through the port side green light. The hairpin emerges from the starboard side yellow porthole, unlocking the final lock. Ah, jeez. Pick up the captain's sextant. Okay, that's been picked up. That's a lot of Snickers. You should grab those. You pick up the sniper rifle. It is a powerful weapon capable of transforming anyone with a keen ogle into a deathbringer from afar. Unfortunately, it's practically useless without its telescope. Below, the candy mecha's legs scramble around like a chicken whose head decapitated itself and flew into the sky to fight a demonic mob boss. Zombie A-stick. Zombie truffle shuffle. You make your Swiss cheese brain self-useful and turn your ordinary lead-foot zombie shuffle into a zombie truffle shuffle! Or is it that you turn your ordinary truffle shuffle into a zombie truffle shuffle? Either way, this attack proves to be absolutely pointless. Candy mecha fire into DMK's mouths. Whoop whoop whoop. The summer monster shuts its various traps. You'll have to catch him off guard if you want to get that blood sugar up. Zad, fad, and add. Triple truffle shuffle! Alright, well you missed with the candy, thus making him still impervious to attacks, but I guess you didn't notice that. You strike your pose, readying yourselves for the ultimate coup de blubber trifecta. Suckle flagon? But wait, it looks like you can't execute your ultimate attack yet anyway. You will need to collect enough pang nectar to process into the amount of Jacos honey needed to fill your suckle flagon before you can max out your comb rave meter. God, it's almost like you've never played this game before. Fiesta Ace slams down his hat in frustration. Pickle Spectre politely suggests a replacement hat. DMK, Thorn Coddle. Yeah. Trickle Agus. Targeting Corsair Dick, the spicy barbs molest every pocket of his portly carriage in a humiliating manner. You wish all your friends weren't around to see this. Your Treacle Agus takes a hit. Not as bad as that cinder block. A vulgar, glum spine flagellum unfurls itself rudely and has a gander at PI. The leer of the prickly vegetable disquiets you. Zombie Ace salivates at the savory-looking tendril. You wonder what sort of nectars it harbors. In a flailing panic, the mecha's legs blast off. It accidentally drops the fan down to Horror Island. All the horrors scatter for cover. You'd probably better get out of the way, too. Okay, now what the hell do you do? Well, while you mull it over, a cheese truck passes by. You see something peculiar inside its rear cabin, illuminated by a strange light. You wonder where the truck is going. Hail the cab and follow that cheese truck! You whistle down a cabbie and flip him a spoon to lick. You tell him there's more where that came from if he keeps the heat on that cheese truck. Who the hell's that? The truck passes through the city's square shoulder tolls where a stiff dairy tax is levied on the local distributors. You cannot pass through the booth because your vehicle is improperly shaped. You catch a glimpse into the illuminated rear cabin opening. There appears to be a mustachioed man sitting there patiently. You wonder what the heck is going on here. Pursue on foot, ask toll operator for directions. What? You are here. Jack Squat Underpass, Bouchera District, Beanpole Alley, Fromagère District, Gutter Pipe Projects. The toll booth operator hands you a map of the downtown districts. A part of the map has been circled. Looks like she's got to go to the Gutter Pipe Projects. Nervous broad, get the hell out of the fan's way. You avoid the enormous fan in the nick of time. You enter the sleazy brothel. The decor seems unusual, lavish and seductive, yet festooned with gorgeous cultural wall paintings. Is this a bordello matron's lair, or is that a sort of artisan? That's kind of confusing. You wonder where the madame is. The fan plug crashes through the ceiling. Ride the plug like a mechanical bull. Wow, what a fucking waste. Actually, this is a lot of fun. Zombie A-Stick sampled the tentacle with a nice bottle of Merlot. You dine on the scrumptious creeper with gluttonous abandon, releasing a steady flow of thick pang and nectar. Future pickle inspector suggested for a nice wine to complement the meal goes boorishly disregarded. He's anger. Shoot the candy! He smarts from the voracious nibbling, leaving his mouths vulnerable to a sugar salvo. The candy mecha seizes the opportunity. The glub spine flagellum retreats into its thorny bramble. DMK's blood sugar elevates. The pang nectar is collected by energetic worker bees. They busily set to work building an impetus comb to transmute the bitter nectar into sweet jocose honey. Recently collected nectar is stored between the walls of the newly erected Sierpinski cells. They labor under the instruction of their chief architect. Hey, he's alive! Plug the fan into the enormous outlet. What enormous outlet? You're not sure if there is an enormous outlet around here, and anyway, you can't even lift the enormous plug. It's too heavy for a delicate flower like you toots. Equip the corset. You don the aspect corset. You feel so womanly now you can hardly breathe. On an unrelated note, the thing sure is tight. Also, your feet suddenly feel wet for reasons completely unfathomable to you. It appears to harbor inscrutable mystical properties. Add stripper container to inventory. Probably a paint stripper. You equip the stripper. Go through the eye door. In this room, 3 curtained doors of varying shapes await. This is where the performers enter, whatever the heck that means. Hysterical Dame, pursue the cheese truck to the gutter pipe projects. The cheese truck has eluded you, but you follow the map to the gutter pipe projects, which is just a few blocks away. Whoever this is, unmute... Well, Andrew Hussey, probably. Unmute Professor B, he's been silent long enough. It's about time, friend! Once we have completed building your impetus comb, all of the jocose honey has ripened and it's as sweet as can be! That is when the fun begins! Don't show pro tips. Was that Tecton Hive? We bring it to the Tecton Hive to dispense the honey. We will place the comb in the slot available depending on the size. The next comb we build after that will be a notch bigger. Each time we put a comb in the hive, the honey will fill your suckle receptacle, and you will get to use a comb rave, a very powerful attack. The bigger the comb, the richer the honey, and the more devastating the rave. As long as you keep providing the nectar, we'll keep building bigger and bigger combs until the 8th comb is complete. That will be one honey of a rave. I'm a bee! Something seems to have fallen in my room. Lazy Susan of Endowment. When tapping the Tecton Hive, all you have to do is rotate the Lazy Susan of Endowment to choose which suckle receptacle the honey will drop into. The corresponding character is then able to perform his or her comb rave. Each character has a unique rave and a different one for each power level, so choose wisely. Hysterical Dame climbed the ladder to look into the pipe. Curiosity gets the best of you as you decide you must sleuth this contraption. You poke your fair features into the pipe. It is dark and damp. There is the distant sound of a whirring mechanical device. You slip and fall in. Enter far right room. That doesn't sound like a good idea to you. Since you were improperly shaped, it is probably impossible, or at least highly inappropriate. Take off all your clothes and enter far left door. You consider stripping before you enter, but there are no murals around to apply the stripper to. You decide to forget it and just enter the tall private booth. There is a tall window in the booth. On the other side is your spectator, a mannerly highbrow. He seems to have been waiting here patiently for a while. There does not appear to be any glass in the window. On the other side, a coin-operated meter ticks down. The highbrow has likely supplied it with a spondyluk or two for his viewing pleasure. There's a lovely mural on the wall beside you. The gutter pipe projects you through a motion picture projector, which is currently showing a burlesque flapper act in an empty theater. However, the lens is focused such that the image projects very small on the screen. It needs to be adjusted if the patrons want to get an eyeful of all that smooth alabaster gams. Mute the bee again. Do not ask me about muting pro tips. It looks like DMK's blood sugar is gradually decreasing through some sort of diabolical regenerative ability. Son of a bitch! Aggress. You clearly have no time to lose. You order Team Sleuth to stop mincing around with bees and wine and shit and get busy aggressing this thorny ass. Except you realize you don't actually have any weapons. You used them to unlock all his armor. And all Piglet Spider has that useless sextant. This is sort of embarrassing. DMK's not wasting any more time either. He's powering up for a major assault. Combat Operandi, CINDER, ABIOCKALYPSE. Oh, jeez. Okay. Okay. The treacle Aegis. They lose some cane. Fiesta Ace loses a couple of beans from his Frijola Aegis. He's got about 1 million more, making it practically indestructible. Nevertheless, he prefers to distance himself from the needlessly ethnic defense modality. Auto parry. Zombie Ace simply auto parries the attack, maturing a new parry craft, Bruised Fruit half price. The candy mecha has been destroyed. Dimk, level 10 Thorn Coddle, apeshit Bramblefuck. Before you have a chance to do anything, Dimk uncorks another doozy of an attack. Shameless Flagella wiggle about molesting everything in sight. Your treacle Aegises have already been depleted to a near critical level. Who'd have thought the final boss would be such a pain in the ass? Nervous Bro used the stripper on the mural. The man has levied good money to watch you strip, and you're not one to disappoint. It's getting a little steamy in here. The highbrow's monocle flogs up. Splash a little on the wall. The highbrow is quite pleased. Hysterical Dame, enter mouse hole, given your small height attribute. This is like the only feasible exit, all dimensional parameters considered. Strip the rest of the mural. You prepare to douse the entire wall with a stripper. You incinerate the painting with the flamethrower. The going operated timer runs out. The peep show is over. The mannerly highbrow having received his money's worth. The tall window switches to a different view. Hysterical Dame, go in. What? You enter the studio of Madame Mural, the brothel's matron/artisan. Above is an outlet, which might be useful for plugging something into as long as the plug is the right size, and the outlet is supplied with power. Hysterical Dame, climb ladder, equip corset. The madam doesn't seem to have noticed you, so you climb the ladder. You don the scale bodice. You've never felt so shapely. The whores compliment you on your glamorous new look. Admiral Sleuth used delegation skills to call 4 nations to your aid. I thought we were going to go back to calling him Problem Sleuth. You lied! Dimka is powering up for yet another devastating attack, ostensibly his finishing move. Thinking fast, you commune with the 4 kingdoms from afar. In the meantime, you order Skipper Inspector to put some of that nautical prowess to work with some evasive maneuvers. The kingdoms assemble 4 of their mightiest heroes to come to your aid. The Weasel Warrior, the Elf Mage, the Hog Cleric, and the Clown Bard. Oh, jeez. Together they prepare the heroine climb up their side of the Cathedral of Synthetic Ascension. Make Universe do a barrel roll. The skipper puts a mean spin on the ship's wheel. The others grab onto the ship's netting for stability. DMK's attack is interrupted. He's gonna be sick. He pukes a deluge of pie filling. The deck is a gooey mess. It's disgusting. Battle technique, Vexatious Glower. He goes ahead, deals an attack anyway. The volatile pile filling has been ignited! Your treacle Aegises have been reduced to 0. Your candy armor disintegrates. Nervous Bra, go through the tall window. You exit the rear cabin of the bread truck. The distortion forces of the oddly shaped portal squeeze your dimensions to be even taller and narrower. This simply won't do. You're already self-conscious about your gangly frame. Loosen the drawstrings on the corset. You slacken the strings on the aspect corset, which was way too tight anyway. Your aspect ratio shortens and widens back to normalcy. Okay, nothing to do here. Go back in. You re-enter the tall window. Your aspect has been altered again, this time in reverse. Hysterical Dame, thank whores for the compliment. It seems the whores have fled in fright. Madame Mural flicks you through the scale bodice. You are flushed out of the scale vowel with new dimensions. Future Pickle Inspector, conjure frosting to extinguish the flames. I thought he was red before. You counter the flammable pie filling with your own blend of soothing flame-retardant cake frosting. The flames have been extinguished. You're happy you're not on fire and all, but you wonder why the hell Future Pickle Inspector is suddenly blue. Future Pickle Inspector is wondering the same thing. It seems at some point in the future, Future Pickle Inspector, the red one, used combat operandi temporal replica simile, again dividing him in 2. One of them went into the past to become past Future Pickle Inspector, P, the blue one. That past moment is apparently now. The other went even further into the future to become Future Pickle Inspector, a color yet to represent itself. Future Pickle Inspector thanks past Future Pickle Inspector for clarifying, and asks him politely to go sit over there for the remainder of the battle to avoid confusion. That slides out a chair, inviting you to a friendly game of trouble. You're not sure, but you think those might be sugar cubes in the pop-o-matic bubble. Demote. DMK depresses your pop-o-matic hat, stripping you of your seafaring status, before you can wield any more of that devastating nautical prowess. Your nautical prowess plummets by a factor of 10. Promise with a hard-boiled voice that you're just getting started. You're through letting this ornery mob boss have his way with you. It's time to bring out the heavy firepower. Hysterical Dame, turn the crank on the scale valve. The flow amplifies. The scale bodice loosens its fit. Turn crank on upper valve. You tighten the aperture. The burlesque motion picture magnifies. Jump down on the valve lever. Not content messing around with this gizmo just yet, you make one more adjustment. You set the lever to aspect valve. Nervous broad, go get plug and bring it through the window. Though you're a little stouter, you're still not strong enough to lift it. Loosen drawstrings again. You become more horizontally generous. You're not totally sure how you feel about being so busty all of a sudden. Lift plug. You lift the plug easily. Promise to summon the Weasel King. The gloves are off. It's finally time to call on His Majesty's services. You expend the required elf tears and weasel snot. The feisty monarch flips the fuck out in DMK's face. DMK takes heavy damage. The Weasel King flips the fuck out back into his realm. But it looks like DMK has gradual health regenerative capabilities too. You throw down your hat in disgust. You're going to need to dump as many powerful attacks into him as you can very quickly, as well as keep finding ways to raise his blood sugar. Nerves Rod, run plug through corset into pipe and out projector. Sorry, the power of the corset only applies to sexy female figures. You'll have to get the plug to the pipe another way. Nice try though. What? Go through the right door. Given your proportions, it now seems appropriate to go through the short, wide door. A Churlish Toff is waiting patiently for his performance. It seems he is quite particular regarding the type of performer he has come to expect in his peeping habits. The Toff is irked by the class of talent his spondylus has paid for. He's a little perplexed by the giant plug, too, and can't imagine what kind of sordid spectacle the accessory will facilitate. He punches the coin return button beneath the slot. The wide window switches to another view. Go through the wide window. You exit the rear window of the ham truck, squashing your proportions even more. The look strikes you as unbecoming. Furthermore, the plug's proportions have been squashed too now. Even if you did manage to shrink it down somehow, there would be no way it would fit into a normal outlet. Weird puzzle shit can be really frustrating sometimes. Go back in. Go through the left door again. You head back to the familiar comfort of the tall window. Go through the tall window. You become elongated by a notch. You are no longer quite as strong. Your noodly arms begin to buckle beneath the big plug, which is also predictably elongated. Hysterical Dame, turn crank on aspect valve. You give the crank a good hard whirl, elongating the valve. The aspect corset tightens, seemingly by itself. This is quite alarming. In this state, you're not even close to being strong enough to support the plug. It pushes you through your corset. You're flushed out of the aspect valve. Prompts to put skylight through small window. Surveying what you have in your inventory to put to use, you remember one of the aces has a small window and you have the skylight with the battery pack. The windows have become knotted in each other to the extent your strength will allow. You'll need to find a way to apply a lot more pressure to achieve the undesirable reaction. Conjure Jawbreaker Bomb. You wrap a hard candy shell around the windows to create the Jawbreaker Skylight Bomb. Only the most powerful jaws will penetrate the shell. Lob it into his mouth. Fiesta Astick stomps on tender flagella while you hurl the potent orb. Stunned, DMK chomps down hard. The bee is upset. Did he blow up or did he get worse? Let's find out. The blood sugar skyrockets while taking insane damage all in one shot. You are splashed by a ridiculous quantity of Pang Nectar. Worker bees soon arrive to carry it away. Nervous Broad, Hysterical Dame, go down the projector pipe. Both of you are easily small/narrow enough to fit into the aperture. You are projected into the room at normal scale. Go downstairs through the eye door. These are the customer entrances for the private booths. All of these doors are locked, accompanied by various distinguished gentlemen. There are switches on the ceiling. Only someone with an extraordinary tallness attribute can operate them. Examine the middle switch. There's something odd about this switch. It is only one of the three switched. It is the only one switched to rear instead of front. Cutscene. Meanwhile, in the middle booth, a dapper swain enjoys the view from his window. The road rushes away from him, producing the very convincing illusion that he is riding in the back of some sort of vehicle. He's having the time of his life! Flip the switch. The swain's view is switched to a small, dark interior filled with crates of what appears to be cheese. At the end of the cabin is a small door marked driver's hatch. The swain defines this development most unwelcome. Insert coins into the coin slot. Growing impatient, he levies a few copper spondylocks to pay for a better show. The view in the window switches. He sits back and waits for his entertainment to begin. Go back and put on your corset, nervous broad. Your work in there is clearly done, so you leave. You put on your aspect corset and nudge your proportions back down to normal. Hysterical dame enter studio. The madam is enraged to see you have returned. She thinks as long as you're so intent on being here, she might as well put you to work. She equips you with the scale bodice, shoves you through the lobby door, and locks it behind you. It's high time to put some mileage out of these. Get some mileage out of those gams and earn your keep around here, dollface. Problem solved. Gambit schema. Candy corn vampire. Spooky gambit aethers envelop you. You feel a powerful transformation taking place. But wait. It seems you have not carved a schema pumpkin and thus cannot employ your gambit schemas. In fact, you don't think you have a schema pumpkin. You're quite sure there are no schema pumpkins lying around and probably never will be. Check progress on the Tecton Hive. It looks like the bees have collected enough pang nectar to complete an impetus comb rich with dripping jacose honey. In fact, they have collected so much nectar from the previous attack they've managed to complete the next 2 combs as well. Wow. Place the impetus combs in the Tecton Hive. The combs are fitted into the appropriate slots and the honey begins to flow. Fill a stick suckle receptacle. The suckle flagon. You spend the lazy Susan of endowment to fill the suckle flagon. A-Stick's comb rave meter max is out. Fill Fiesta A-Stick's suckle receptacle. The suckle cruet. It's full. Fill zombie A-Stick. Suckle decanter. You fill the suckle decanter. The comb rave meter max is out. The three of you combined may now execute a rare and devastating triple comb rave. You will have to think long and hard about which attack you would like to use. The decision will occupy a big chunk of the battle while you chew the fat. Take your time. Meanwhile, Hysterical Dame will equip the paint roller. You pick up the paint roller and the paint bucket. Go into the middle private booth. On the other side of the square window, the dapper swain waits for his show. On the wall is an exquisite mural, the perfect backdrop for various burlesque indecencies. Roll some paint on the mural. You cover up a bit, being the saucy little tease you are. The swain is piqued by the steamy display. His busy fingers start a small mustache fire. Meanwhile, the mannerly highbrow is somewhat disconcerted by the view through his expired window. It is a narrow cabin stocked with bread. Highbrow, go through the driver's hatch. You climb into the driver's seat of the bread truck. Nervous brow, get in the passenger seat. The highbrow bobs his head politely and asks, "Where to, miss?" Future pickle spender, conjure candy telescope for sniper rifle. It looks delicious, but it is completely non-functional. Despite your most concentrated ogle, you can't see through it at all. What a useless piece of shit! Throw it away. You toss it overboard. It bounces off a random truck driving by and into a traffic light. The huge candy telescope takes DMK by surprise, directly in the mouth. His blood sugar reaches a critical limit. It's time to strike while the iron is diabetic! Comb rave triple truffle shuffle. Fiesta Ace begins sending ominous lard wobbling tremors through the cosmos. You issue a hard-boiled line before dealing the attack. Attack suckle on this receptacle. Triple truffle shuffle. I guess it doesn't start until the next page. Okay. Scuffle. Oh, dang. That certainly was a truffle shuffle. The blubberly onslaught has easily wiped out the remainder of his health meter. The critically wounded boss descends. DMK's nether regional blooms, briefly exposing his weak spot. Sepulchritude? 1,000 voices from afar seem to ring in your mind. They chime in unison the name of your ultimate attack. Yes! Yes! Now seems like the perfect time for... Nope, you're still jumping the gun. In spite of your penchant for self-destruction, you still just don't have the offensive gravitas for that attack. You will need a level 8 impetus comb field before you can rain that awful shitstorm down on everyone. Oh, did I mention? I'm almost positive I did. Let's see if PI can no-scope that weak spot. You don't have the right angle on the vulnerable from the deck. Besides, the meager bullets from the sniper rifle probably wouldn't do much damage to such a hardy foe. The key to making the weapon useful must be the telescope. You just don't see any alternative. Who's swapping hats with him? This idea is just utterly ridiculous on its face. Nevertheless, while everyone else is distracted doing things that actually make sense, A-Stick seizes the opportunity. All he can really manage to do is climb on top of the stunned DMK's hat and look foolish. Fiesta A-Stick, throw a crate at him. With your awesome Latin vim, you hoist the enormous crate easily. You take aim at the vulnerable, but again, you have a tricky angle on it. You throw it anyway. The crate sails past the weak spot, missing it completely. Turn that wheel 180 degrees. With a steady hand gained from minutes of experience as the ship's courageous skipper, you flip the universe. The rest of the Sleuth crew grabbed hold of the netting. A-Stick takes a secure purchase of the hat. The crate comes back down and clocks the weak spot for massive damage. Salubrity frankincense. The blow has depleted his supply of salubrity frankincense. His supplies of spunk, myrrh, and pep gold each remain. The vulnerable begins to close back up. The bolt closes and he reascends/descends depending on whether you flip the universe right side up yet, which I guess you have. He rotates his head to exhibit a fresh face, complete with not one, but 2 fully replenished health meters. He considers rejuvenation to be highly predictable since, let's face it, there are just so many cool attacks you haven't gotten around to using yet. And we'll do the next attack in the next episode, because it's been like 37 minutes. So in the next episode, he'll do level 1000 running numbers roll for dexterosity. So, this has been Anachi Sasuke. This is episode something of Let's Read Problem Sleuth. And if you liked it, a like and a subscribe, not subscribe, would be groovy. If you didn't, you'll need to do either one of those things. So, thanks for watching, and I will see y'all in the next one. Later!